Hey guys, we have a 2006 Nissan Murano with the 3.5 liter V6, and the air conditioner's not working. So what I've got to so far, I've verified that we've got plenty of refrigerant to where it should at least kick the compressor on. Just sitting here statically, we're at about 90 psi, and it's a little over 80 degrees right now. So what I found was I went to the IPDM right here and I started probing the fuses. And let me show you. Of course, Nissan was nice enough to not give you enough slack right here either. I've got my test light. And right here on this red fuse, right here, we don't have power on this side. But we do have power right there. So that means that fuse is blown. Let me see if I can pluck it out of there. And unfortunately, yep, popped fuse. So Nissan was also nice enough. I was hoping I'd be able to get to the relay to where I could jumper it. Let me show you what the diagram looks like here. So here's the IPDM. This is the box that we're at. This right here, even though that's one thing about Pro Demand I wish they would do, is whenever you print the diagrams out, the diagrams need to default to where they're full page. Why they are so shrunk down is stupid. I know you can resize it and go through a headache of trying to get it full page, but it's a pain. Anyway, here's our 10 amp fuse. Goes straight to the AC relay. The AC relay goes straight down to the clutch on the compressor. So we've got a short somewhere along this route right here. Well, this relay, even though it looks like all the other relays on the print, this is a integrated relay that's on the board inside the IPDM. It's not one of the external ones. So I can't get to this relay. So the next step is to find this connector, which is E8 pin 30, I think it's 33. Again, yeah, it's 30. I circled it right here now that I think about it. Pro Demand, make it to where your prints print out full page. Let's see, what else did we have here? Oh, this is the layout of the IPDM. Of course, there's all the relays, there's all the fuses. Not one AC relay on this because the AC relay is built inside. So if your AC relay goes out, you got to replace the IPDM. You can't just replace a $20 relay. So that's nice of any manufacturer that thinks that's a good idea. So my next step is to get to this connector, get to pin 33 right here. We'll ring it. We'll see what the resistance is. My guess right now is that the clutch is shorted, but it could be a wire that's pinched or shorted somewhere. So we'll see. We'll get to this. We'll find out if it's internal to the IPDM. If it's this wire here, the clutch, we'll figure that out and go from there. But anyway, E8 is the connector, 33 is the wire that runs out to the clutch. On this model Nissan, there is not a self-test that you can do. Some Nissans you can do a self-test. I've got a video on how to do that, and it'll actually try to engage the clutch, the wipers, the lights, the cooling fans, and it'll kind of test your IPDM and test all your components. But this car does not have that feature. So since there's not enough slack here, I'm going to have to actually disconnect all these connectors and be able to get down to the very bottom connector here, which is the connector I need, I think, or maybe it's this one. I'll have to look at the print again. But anyway, let me get the camera mounted, and we're going to start kind of accessing what we need to access here. Maybe best to disconnect the battery before you do this, but I typically don't worry too much about that. Now, if you had to actually get into this box to take a look at that relay, you may be able to, because it's just got tabs. You may have to open this up here in a minute just to take a look. But I think the, was it, which one was it? Yeah, it was this one right here, wasn't it? And basically what I want to do, hit this with my meter. We'll see what the resistance is. If the resistance looks okay, I'll jumper it and see if I can hear the clutch engage. If the clutch engages, then that means the IPDM is more than likely the problem. Let me get my print. Print saying it's a yellow and black wire right in the corner, number 33. And there's a yellow and black right here in the corner. Let me get my meter. .5. I'm going to get my jumper, and I'm going to just jumper this real quick and see if I can hear that clutch engage. I've just got me a jumper here. I'm going to connect it over here to the positive terminal of the battery. Alright guys, so I figured out the problem. I got this connector to the clutch disconnected, and I don't know if you can see right up here, you can see bare wire. And what it looks like to me is, for whatever reason, the insulation has been either softened up from the oil leak, or it was touching up against the pulley, and that's what was shorting it. The clutch actually works, and I'm going to show that here in just a minute once I figure out my lighting situation. So I've got my jumper. If I hold that wire off of the clutch to where it's not shorted, I've got to do this one-handed. So let me see here. If the wire touches, it's a full short, and then I'll tell you what my fix is going to be. Well, you heard the, hold on. There we go. So the clutch is working. All I got to do is insulate that wire running back there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to depin this plug, run some heat shrink all the way down as far as I can, shrink it down, and then repin this plug. And hopefully that's going to fix this car up with actually no parts required. So I've got to get this tire out of my way so that I can get in here and work. But that's what I found. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a common problem. We got some strands broke already, but that's only it looks like 2 or 3 strands. That might not be too bad of a deal. Let me get to it and see what it's going to take. All right, I'm going to try to do this with the camera right where it's at. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crimp my splice on here. Then I'm going to slide the heat shrink on it. Okay, so there's my first crimp. Now this is adhesive lined heat shrink that whenever it's shrunk down will completely seal this wire off. Okay. That's as far down as I can get it. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink it, and then we'll put another piece on after we do our other crimp. That's probably a little bigger than what I want, but that's the best it's going to get. This is a 3-to-1 shrink ratio. A lot of heat shrink is 2-to-1. This is 3-to-1, so it shrinks down 3 times its unshrunk size. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna route this back over there. I'm gonna connect it up, and we're gonna see if we had any luck. Okay, so it's routed back above the compressor. Connector's hooked back up. And then here's the here's the wire that runs down to the compressor, to the clutch. So it looks like this should work. So I'm going to go ahead and plug all this stuff back in and plug the IPDM back in. Have to put a new fuse in it, that 10 amp fuse right there. Plug everything up, get it packed back down in its little cubby hole, start it up, and we'll see if that's going to get us some cold air. It looks like just from the static pressures, as you can tell, looks like it's fully charged. Anyway, let me kind of get this mess cleaned up, get this IPDM back in. We're going to see what happens. All right, guys, I got it all back together. Got a new 10 amp fuse in it. Got all the connectors hooked up. I don't have the cover on yet, but I want to start it up first and make sure that everything's going to work all right. Feels good right now. Let's see what kind of temperature we're getting. Grab my thermometer. I've got to do an AC job on this Jeep. It gets cold, but not quite cold enough. Compressor is on. I don't have the high side hooked up. I don't know, that's kind of low pressure. See what kind of temperature we're getting. Still dropping. Let me hook the high side up real quick. It might need a little bit of Freon, refrigerant rather. Although that's nice and cold. Let's see a little under 50. I'm gonna put just a little bit in because I think that low pressure is just a little too low. Now we got 20, that's a little better.
Don't do you, do the opposite of you. I can walk around naked, no judgment. We were born naked. It's the Kid Craddock Morning Show. All right, here we go.
It's about 80, 85 degrees right now. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care.